My apologies, guys. Uh, my my apologies, guys. Lost my connection there. I'm just gonna finish this game real quick, and then I'm gonna have to go. My son is crying. Okay. Pause. Ethan, Daddy's trying to make a video, buddy. You can't. Daddy's trying to make a video. All right. Again, sorry about that, guys. So, um, Josh Norman. Uh, where could he go? Well, a lot of teams, apparently 8 teams called about within 15 minutes of hearing about Josh Norman's release. Any one of the teams that he goes to could scratch a defensive back off their need going into this draft. So we're talking about every team. Every team could use a corner. But a team like San Diego, who is looking at a possible defensive back, but also holds the third overall pick, can go get a Tunsil, sign Norman, and compete this year because it fills two major needs, and then still draft the rest of the draft. Don't get me wrong. Again, this draft is second and third round heavy, but those are valuable picks. Those are valuable players that you will be drafting at second and third round players. Those are guys. Those are starters. Those are starters that could develop into, great players, Pro Bowlers. Your fourth round picks are your backups, who could develop into starters. Fifth, sixth, and seventh, I kind of look at it as like, if you hit, you get lucky. If not, you have practice squad guys. I see a lot more trades in those late rounds. So, to me, it's about trade bait. So, but you fill Josh Norman in, you plug him into play. Whatever team he goes to, again, can take a defensive back off their draft process, unless they're looking for multiple. A team who picks Jalen Ramsey and then gets Josh Norman now has a fortified corner situation. A team who already has a corner, i.e., I don't know. Let's use the Lions, because I didn't already tweet this out as soon as I heard the Josh Norman news. With Darius Slay on the roster, and he's going to be in need of an extension, but so your Lions are going to have to pay him, because if they keep letting their talent walk to go test free agency, they're never going to have a team. They're just going to be marketing players for the rest of the NFL. But Norman and Slay, I was a Lions fan, I would be excited. I sent out a tweet to Darius Slay as soon as I heard the news, introducing him to Josh Norman and Josh Norman to Darius Slay. And then I sent one out to the Lions organization. I know that any of those groups I just mentioned are going to read my tweet. And I know it's not impactful to what's going to happen, but, the NFL fan in today's society gets to voice their opinion a lot more than they ever have before. And this is a prime example, because I just got Twitter. I was trying to hold off on ever getting it because I didn't see the point in it. But I'll tell you what, if I think this is where I'm at today with the Lions, is that they got to do something bold. They got to show their fan base that whatever they do in this year's whatever they're doing this year going into 2017, that they're trying to win, and they're not complacent, because last year they let both their star defensive tackles leave.
He has been pressed there too,
which,
the ball out
you know,
of play.
Ouch.
And Cooper.
Then the draft came and and pulled in free agency. Like, okay, yeah, they went and got the number one receiver in free agency on their board in Marvin Jones. Well, that's good. Great. Now we have realistically the same number of bodies that Matt Stafford was throwing the ball to after Calvin Johnson's retirement than he was before. We're losing games because defense. And when our defense is good, our offense isn't there. So we're losing because of inconsistency. Jim Bob Cooter is going to make the offense great. Stafford's numbers since Cooter took over have been good. 19-2 in interception to touchdown interception ratio. Running backs, hopefully Abdullah will be better in year 2. I like the Abdullah pick. I said last year, I didn't get it on record, so everyone's going to think I'm just making it up, but I said last year that Joink Bell had run his last ball for Detroit because they were going to go with the Riddick Abdullah combination, and they've got 4 on the team. But anyways, that was about the Lions getting a chance to move up and move to get Norman. Secondary help is always good for Detroit. They don't have to draft right away. They wouldn't have to go out and draft a guy if they could pull it off. But that's what every team's got that same scenario. If you can go and sign Josh Norman at this point, your draft board changes because you go from having a priority position like a corner, which is needed in a passing league that we're in, and being able to, if not remove it from your board completely, push it back a couple of rounds because you bring a guy that instantly comes in as a starter. You know he can play because he's already done it in the NFL. And you know that he's not leaving his team because it was a skill issue or an injury issue. It was a financial issue that, again, if you listen to Stephen A. Smith, sounds like it was his agent that screwed up for him. And don't be surprised if Josh Norman ends up getting a new agent before his career is all over. Because he's going to lose out. He's not going to lose out on millions, but if he wanted to stay, he's going to lose out on millions. Because Skip Bayless said this too. He's going to have to grovel to go back because the agent doesn't. The agent represents him. So for all the Carolina Panthers know, that was Josh Norman's decision to make this a hard decision for Carolina to the point where Carolina's going to walk. When you get drafted by a team, you go to the Super Bowl with a team. I think the team almost expects you to just give them the hometown discount, especially when I think he played college ball in Carolina as well. So they're expecting the hometown discount, and he wants to get paid like the top corner and less like the top corner for the Carolina Panthers. Well, you know, who's that a negative against? I don't know. I think, you know, the NFL players make a lot of money. They play a tough game. They make a lot of money. You know, shutdown quarterbacks. I don't want to say shutdown quarterbacks because now we're talking about things that don't exist right now.
Here's the shot. The goalkeeper plunged to
so,
make the save. More news on the injury front
it's just a word
right
thing now.
Ankle,
I'm gonna have to finish this game. We're probably going to call it though. Add these two videos together if you want. Wow, embarrassing that my connection went out right in the middle of a spiel about an NFL player. But let's get back to talking about a little bit about what's going on at 3. San Diego can trade this pick if they want. Teams are calling them about this pick. Larry Tunsil is the 3rd overall pick in this draft.
That is called.
as much, I've said it's Goff, Wentz, and Tunsil. Someone may have, maybe St. Louis has Wentz above Goff on their board, but I don't think so. Especially since Philadelphia has Wentz as their guy and moved up. So if Philly can't get Wentz, then they wouldn't have made that trade. So they should know something. But Tunsil's the third pick in this draft. So if Tunsil's the third pick in this draft,
without question, it was not the best of chances.
He could stay in San Diego, protect Phillip Rivers at the end of his career, and try to get them another chance at, a championship somehow. Or whoever trades up for him can do the same thing. When the Philly trade was made yesterday, I sent out another tweet that
it's a real tussle between
this is a chance for Detroit to be bold. And yes, Detroit again. Because now they can move up to 3, which is not as expensive as a move as it is to 1. It's actually quite cheaper to move up to 3 than it is to 1. And get one of these blue chip guys. Because again, 4 of the 5 blue chip guys can come on your roster, on the Lions roster.
Nice bit of interplay between these two.
Now you're talking about a guy that's got the talent for a potential Pro Bowler or perennial Pro Bowler, and change your in-house philosophies a little bit, which is what you need to do.
Too early, offside.
And again, 2 through 7. Detroit could do that and get a blue chipper. But Jalen Ramsey's still my pick for the top player in the draft. But if San Diego is still getting calls after the Philly trade about their 3rd overall pick, it's not for Jalen Ramsey. Draft philosophy says you don't move up for defensive backs in the top 10. I think Ramsey's that good though. Like if the 3rd pick came around and the team that did that was like, no, we're taking Jalen Ramsey, he's the best player in the draft. I can't argue with them. It's true. Those are fact statements. Oh well, I got subbed out. Huh. I'll play one more, guys. I'll fit another one in.
Dundee United,
but still,
2,
like
Motherwell 1, Midlothian 1, St. Johnston 0.
Any team that wants to move up right now and get in the blue chip chase, which is what I think should be called right now, the 5 guys. If you listen to other scouts, 6 guys, 7 guys. So 2 through 10, which where most drafts are, is the very, very talented young men who want to play the game. Okay, so move up. It's time. There's got to be a moment where you stop drafting to build a team and draft to show your fans that you're trying to win. Because you've been doing the same thing for years, and a lot of teams have been doing it for years. Bold moves like what Buffalo did for Sammy Watkins, that doesn't happen. Teams that haven't been in contention going and getting a guy like that and saying that guy can put you in contention, that doesn't happen a lot. A lot of teams just draft at their position, assume that the rest of their scouting department and what they do with their free agency and stuff like that will be good enough to get them to the next level. Well, sometimes you got to make a move in the draft too, guys. And look at the teams that have succeeded in the NFL, and I'm looking at New England. New England trades all the time. Backwards, forwards, in and out, left, right, and they put rosters together. Now, I had said in a previous video that once Tom Brady leaves, that won't be as apparent, because I think the Patriots are going to go into a slip, because you're not going to be able to hit on a Tom Brady every year. You can't. It's just, it's just, it doesn't happen that often. But so, you know, every team, because the positions, the positions of these blue chippers, any one of the blue chippers could go to them. They're now realistically getting the first overall pick in the draft because no one was picking the quarterbacks except for the teams that were looking for, except for the teams that moved up to get quarterbacks. If it was going to be based off the boards, these guys are out of the top 10, except in one scenario where one of them is considered by one scout to be a top 5 pick. I mean, so yeah, that's what we're looking at. Is I think I solved Morrisgate for my last video. I think Ezekiel Elliott is still the pick for Dallas, unless a team comes up to 3 and takes him, and then in which case it's pretty easy for them to just take Jalen Ramsey and plug him in to their draft position. Dallas is in a really good position for a draft this year, and they're in a really good position overall because Tony Romo gives them a chance to win. They still have Winton. They still have that good offensive line. They do need some pieces. Josh Norman makes sense for Dallas as a free agent. And if Josh Norman goes to Dallas, then Jalen Ramsey's not a priority or a necessity. And then you can go, you can give yourself Ezekiel Elliott and be like, well, we got our corner as well. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. The Josh Norman sweepstakes right now is basically saying, hey guys, whoever gets this guy got an additional first rounder, because talent wise, I mean, he's already a starting cornerback in the league. So
in his team's favor.
Well, I think you've got to be bullish. I mean,
given time in the league, is Jalen Ramsey a better player? I have no idea. I mean, Josh Norman, to me, kind of came out of the blue. I don't remember him being that touted coming out of college, and I don't remember him being that scary until last year. So it's, but people are talking about Ramsey being that scary right now, right this minute, being that scary. So, you know, but yeah. So Dallas, I think Dallas is going to be able to take Ezekiel Elliott for their pick.
First goal, it's 1-0.
That gets. Oh no, I don't think that anymore. Wow, I'm silly. I'm sorry, guys. I got both my drafts out right now. I've got my old draft before the second trade, and my new draft that is still in the works, but it's forged that far. I don't think Dallas can take Ezekiel Elliott at 4 anymore. I'm so sorry about that. Ezekiel Elliott, where he fits a need that they have, is still a running back in an NFL that's a pass-heavy league now. So you go get your defensive back. Now, Josh Norman switches this again. If Josh Norman goes to Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott can be picked at number 4, and I'll change the pick again. But I did have a couple of change of hearts in forging the second mock draft. A lot of players that I let slide because of things. I didn't let them slide this time. I moved them up, except for Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa, you are going to Chicago. There are just a couple of picks that you can kind of feel. Like I said before, with Agba going to Green Bay just because of his name, it's weird like that, but it feels that way. You know, like Treadwell, I feel like the Giants, it just feels like the right pick for them. And all the way down at the other end of the draft, even in my first mock when I said that Derrick Henry could end up in Carolina, to me, before Josh Norman franchise tag got rescinded, that sounded like a good fit. But now it doesn't, because now they have a priority position need. Your number 1 corner left. Guess what you need now? You need a corner. He could resign. That was on the table. There's no ill will towards Josh Norman. Again, I think Josh Norman's agent won't be with him long. But there's no ill will towards Josh Norman from the Carolina Brass. So he could come back if they can get a contract figured out. And in which case, Derrick Henry, you know, fits right back into the scheme for them as far as drafting a first-round player goes. I'll have mock draft number 2 up Monday. As promised, Monday I will supply my draft. I will not switch it again after Monday, barring that there are no trades. If San Diego moves out of 3, I obviously have to switch what they're getting, which is going to impact what teams after them are getting. So, yeah, that'll happen. If Colin Kaepernick gets traded to San Francisco, and for some goddamn reason it involves the first overall pick, or the first round picks getting moved around too, I will adjust accordingly. But if everyone stays pat until the draft day, what you hear on Monday will be my final mock draft. I'll give the lengthy explanations again, like I did before. Most of the picks are the same, or will look like they're going to be the same. The quarterback situation switches some minor things in the early parts of the draft, but it really doesn't impact the late ends of the draft, except for the fact that I do have some late end movement because of the Josh Norman thing, because of what teams' draft philosophies are versus what they need. The Colts GM, this dude seems to get a lot of attention in the news because he says things that are very interesting to hear from the other side of the league. It's weak to draft for need. You draft best player available. Wow. There are 2 teams sitting at the top of the draft who've just done the opposite of what this guy says. And that just speaks to the different philosophies in drafts that teams can have. There's an NFL general manager who is saying that if you go up, or if you draft for a need, you're doing the weak version of the draft. And that the draft is meant for, or the draft, I would assume his following statement is that you draft best player available. So we'll have to see, because in my first mock draft, Indianapolis, I had you taking Eli Apple because you need a corner. So if you take a corner in the first round, because Eli Apple is actually rated as a second round pick in most opinions, mine included, but it's a need, so I gave it to you. But man, if Indy takes Eli Apple, then that whole statement he said about drafting for need seems kind of to be hypocritical, because there's no way you're going to convince me that Eli Apple skipped over 20 guys on your board, unless you're valuing your needs higher than you are valuing the board as a whole. Because after seeing what a GM board looks like, it's broke down by position, it's broke down by what round the player falls into. But before they get to that point, they have an overall board of just players ranked. And then they break that board down by position. And then they focus on position, on what their board says. Trust your board is what GMs tell you about the draft. You know, you've got to, you put your board together, follow that board, don't guess it. Okay. You know, if this is a heavy defensive tackle draft, you could wait until the second round to get one. So there are teams that could use a defensive tackle that may skip on them. There's so much talent. If you are looking for someone who's going to put their hand down in the dirt in this year's draft, a lot of talent. not as many blue chip. A lot of starters. Let me just say that there's a lot of guys that can start for you.
Great work by the goalkeeper. The ball is his,
Really,
make
the only
sure
blue
he's
chip
protected
is Tunsil. If Kandichi, I want to say that's how you say the kid's name. If Kandichi can get his attitude set, not want to buy a Panther for himself and shit. You know, a lot of people said that he plays like he could be a blue chip, like he could be that Pro Bowl guy.
Paul McGowan.
And I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. As of right now, on my draft, I have Detroit taking him. I moved him out from not being in the first round at all to after watching his interview with Steve Mariucci, former Lions coach, current, you know, NFL Network guy or ESPN guy.
It's a forward.
I moved him up, and I moved him out of the second round. As a guy that could be drafted in the second round, I moved him all the way up to 16. I didn't have Detroit moving back to get him. Detroit, apparently, everyone's saying Detroit needs a defensive tackle. I guess a younger defensive tackle, because Haloti Ngata is in his 30s at this point. But it's tough because a good defense, a good front seven makes your corners look good. Good corners can make your front seven look good. A good run game makes your whole defense look good because then they don't have to be out there as much. But and we're talking about a run game in Detroit. Jesus Christ. You're going to have to resurrect the career of Barry Sanders at this point, it seems. But anyways, yeah, so Monday we'll show draft version 2.0. Tuesday I will probably put up my review of the draft. Wednesday, barring that there are no trades have impacted the draft, I will discuss sporting news. Hopefully I will get away from the draft for at least one day. Thursday is draft day, but obviously I put my videos up before the draft will be the first round will be up, so expect a news day, if not a off sports day conversation. Friday will be all draft if I video Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, one of those 2 days, if not both days, expect draft grade talk. Who screwed up? Who made the right decisions? I think everyone's going to know at that point because you're going to have the scouts and the commentators at the draft telling you who made the wrong decisions. But I'm going to give you a different outlook, obviously, because in my mind, there's already two teams that have made the wrong decisions. Because neither of the quarterbacks that are going 1 and 2 are my guys. They wouldn't have been my guys if I was. Because as a fan of the NFL, yes, I'm a Lions fan, but if I was in a position where the Lions were looking for a quarterback, I wouldn't be looking at these two guys.
Got it back again.
I would feel way more comfortable with a scenario that Cleveland's got than what
the goalkeeper could have had a much more difficult task.
What St. Louis is going forward with, or what Philadelphia is going with, for that matter. Because, yeah, I mean, it can work. I've already explained how it works, where Sam Bradford plays this year. And then the two of the quarterbacks that are going to, Chase Daniels and the Wentz, because that will be drafted to him, will be on the roster the year after. And then it'll be Wentz and whoever stays, you know? So, yeah, just talking to my son for a minute. Hold on. 1 minute, buddy. Okay? Okay. 1 second. So, yeah, son is calling. So we're going to finish this game up. He is, I can see him, and he is just staring at me, giving me those eyes, his little doe eyes. Where he's like, hey, Dad, can we go not do this? He was napping when I started this video. And I was really looking forward to getting my opinion out on these things. I got my opinion out, so I'm happy with it. And once this game's over, I'm more than willing to stop the video. But he's adorable. we both fell asleep on the bed together. And then I got up shortly after he actually fell, like, was zoned out, like, out. And was like, well, I might as well put up a reaction video to the trade and Josh Norman. Again, guys, opinions. If anyone has an opinion that's different than mine, please leave a comment. If you like what I'm doing here, I know that this is primitive gameplay, and I haven't talked about soccer in 3 weeks, or 3 episodes on this stream. And I apologize to soccer fans, but I said that I wanted to just get out some news, and this draft is a big deal to me. It will always, every year will be a big deal to me. I love the draft, and I love putting drafts together, and now I get a medium to actually put some stuff out, so I'm going to do that. But if what you're hearing from me is something that you want to hear, or you think that your friends wouldn't want to hear that, subscribe, like, share, let people know what's going on. I would love to see what I had the first time I put a stream up, where someone commented during my live stream, and I could actually maybe even have the debate during the stream about some of these decisions, whether it be NFL, MLB. It's a brand new MLB season. We got a lot to talk about in MLB when we get to that point. The NBA playoffs are currently happening. Steph Curry's injured. I mean, we have things to talk about. So, you know, get at me. Let's talk about this stuff. Let's figure out what the masses say about their sports. I want to hear from some other NFL fans too, some teams that aren't Detroit. Tell me if, like, I heard Philly fans on the radio from phone calls that were put into that ESPN played. They're not happy about the trade. Get a hold of me. Let me know about this stuff, guys, because I'm there with you. Like, I think, you know, I'm a sports fan. I'm not getting paid to give my opinion. I don't work as a sports scout or analyst or anything like that. I'm just a fan who's going to put up some sports content and talk about sports. As far as what you're going to see out of this channel in the near future, I should be getting the show soon. I'm thinking next week I'll probably be able to get it. I might have a video up for it next weekend. I already told you guys I'm going to make 3 players in the show, and I'm going to bring my knuckleballer pitcher. Will be the first player. I'm going to do the creation video and the draft. I'll put that up. I'm going to make a catcher, and I'm going to make probably an interior defenseman. So second, shortstop, center field maybe. Again, never played the show, so if I stink it out of the park, I'm going to stink it out of the park. I'm going to just do it. I don't care. I have never been really too happy about not being good at sports games, but I'm going to play it out like it as it happens. I'm not going to recreate or anything like that. Maybe in one of the videos that are non-mock draft later in the week or early next week, I'll discuss the pitch selection for my pitcher when he comes to be a actual thing, and discuss why I'm going to do that way. And then we'll move on from there. When Madden comes out, I will do a fantasy draft roster and or a save the team roster, one of the two. Realistically, I want you guys to know up front that when I do drafts, I looking at the younger talent more than I am anything else, because I'm a year 2 guy. I'm going to win in Madden is something I played for a long time. I'm going to win with the roster no matter what the roster is. Or I'm going to try my damnedest to do so. And that's going to probably lead me to want to go to the young talent first, because then I can just keep that roster around. So I might do a save the franchise. If anyone hears this and wants to point to one of the two as an option, a better option, let me know. because I can do the save franchise, or I can do the fantasy draft. Maybe I'll do both, but that's a lot of videos. Content will be, you'll be seeing a baseball video, one from each guy, then a football video. Because I think the idea is to play until the next game comes out and just keep going. And just keep putting out content, keep talking about sports news, keep talking about, entertainment news as far as, stuff like wrestling, which I haven't really talked about as much, and then other hobbies I have. These are things that I'm going to be addressing on this channel, that I'm going to be doing in these streams, whether they're watched or not. So, but that's the game. I finished. I played the whole game again. I was the man of the game. 7-0. We've been killing it down here or in Hamilton. My understanding is I signed a transfer, so it was something that I'm on loan, but that's kind of where I am now. I'm part of this team. So we're gonna end the stream here, and I see you guys.